Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. So, the state of New York in the United States of America conducts nuclear incident drills. What does that mean? That means that they are getting ready, prepared for a possible nuclear attack or nuclear detonation. People who watched my videos regularly maybe heard me saying that I am amazed, not as a desire, but I am amazed that there's no, or the enemies of the United States of America, the crazy ones, were not capable of illegally transporting a little box to detonate in one of United States' big cities. That to me is, we're going to discuss this one, and why now the FBI warns citizens about the nuclear incident. Is there any connection between these guys having such a thing in, let's say, somewhere in New York? Or they're afraid the Iranians, the Hezbollah, got their nails on a Ukrainian little bomb? I don't know. Let's read and see what these guys are trying to do in New York. Or maybe they just want to, if you scare people, you get them to do what you want them to do. So let's read this little article here. This is from Russia Today. FBI, on the 27th of January 2025. FBI warns citizens about a quote-unquote nuclear incident training. A multi-agency exercise simulating a nuclear event. You see, event doesn't have to be an attack like a detonation inside, from within New York City, or coming from outside. Nuclear event will take place this week in the state of New York, the FBI has announced. A large-scale nuclear training exercise will take place in the U.S. state of New York this week, with visible activity expected to begin on Monday, today. The FBI said. The multi-agency training is scheduled to run from January 26th to January 31st in Schenectady, I don't know how you Schenectady, Albany, and Saratoga counties, the agency announced. It added that the exercise poses no threat to the public. The training will be primarily concentrated around Albany's International Airport, the Stratton Air National Guard base, and fire departments in northern Saratoga County. The drills will simulate a nuclear event and are part of a series of regularly scheduled biannual exercises conducted by the U.S. government since 2012. So they have been doing this, they say. The agency said in a statement on Friday, and I'm quoting, "I believe planning for this one began back in the spring," FBI Albany public affairs official Pop told. The drills are not being conducted in response to any recent or ongoing world events, she added. So you're screwed, my friends, in New York. Why? You know exactly why. The exercise is intended to practice and enhance operational readiness to respond in the event of a nuclear incident in the United States or overseas. This is an exercise of the National Technical Nuclear Forensics Ground Collision Task Force, which would support the investigation of nuclear incident. All right, they are trying to not to scare the baboons, I think. I don't think they're trying to scare them. They just say, you know what, we're going to do this, but don't worry, nothing is going to happen. Remember in 1950s, the American children had drills, regular drills. I know about 1950s, about being attacked by the Soviets with atomic bombs. And they were, in case of an attack, not an event, an attack, you can say, well, it's an event. Well, event could be, this, and could be that. It's too. Event is I punch you, event could be you punch me. It's the same event, but it's two different things. The same here. Event here could be a missile coming over or something detonated, let's say, in Manhattan. That's still an incident. Both of them are under the umbrella of an incident. So I know in 1950s, these guys were training, they're drilling with their kids to hide under their freaking 1 centimeter desks. And that will be safe because of the atomic energy coming and taking them. I don't know if this is true, but from my studies, it seems to be true. I remember a long time ago, someone told me that it's not hard to transfer a atomic bomb. Don't think about the big bombs that are made of an atomic bomb in a city. I've been told that it's of a size of a nucleus, the igniter. It's of a size, that's what you need. The rest it's easier, supposedly. It's of the size of a briefcase. So, a size of a briefcase transported, let's say, through the southern border. A long time ago, let's say from a lost Ukrainian bomb, or Russian, or something where these guys just transported little warheads. You don't have to have the whole missile, you have to have the warhead. It's true that you might detect radiation. Maybe there is already here. That's why certain things are not done to certain countries. But I'm not certain. The fact that these guys are telling us now about it, and not, 2 days ago, 1 year ago, I never heard of this. This is the first time when I hear this thing. It's concerning. Remember those drones about 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, they were flying all over the United States of America? They didn't know what that was. It was the aliens, it was the imbeciles, like us, who were playing with the drones. And there was some who said that, no, actually it's a US government operation in order to sniff a possible nuclear bomb being present on the territory of the United States of America from outside with evil intentions. So, could you stop that? Well, there's no smoke without a fire. I don't want to create any panic or anything like that. I'm just reporting what these guys said. It's very strange that these guys are conducting drills. What can you do with those drills? The same thing, I think, that these guys did in the 1950s with those children under those 1 centimeter thick desks that they had. Empty underneath, mind you. It doesn't mean you should not be prepared. It should be prepared. But I think it's concerning that you guys are going to do it, and you've been doing probably regularly. And we're going to do it more. Why? I tell you why. I kept reading you this from Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s book right here. I've been reading this whenever I need to use it as an example. At the end of it, there is a quote coming from Hermann Goering. So, according to Robert F. Kennedy Jr., yeah, this guy right here. I like him to a certain extent. I mean, you can't like everybody all the time, right? Like, what's his name? You can fool people sometimes, but you can't fool all the people all the time. Who was that? That guy with the Emancipation Declaration. All right, so we have here at page 194, and I always, write on the side of my books, Goering. So this is according to Robert F. Kennedy, and it's true. All right, he says that these elected governments use the provocative of terrorist attacks, continued wars, and invocation of patriotism and homeland security to privatize the commons, tame the press, muzzle criticism by opponents, and turn government over to corporate control. He says, I agree with that. And I'm quoting right here. This is Hermann Goering. It is always a simple matter to drag the people along, noted Hitler's sidekick Hermann Goering, and I'm quoting again, whether it is a democracy or a fascist dictatorship, or a parliament or a communist dictatorship, voice or no voice, the people can always be brought to the bidding of the leaders. That is easy. All you have to do, is tell them they are being attacked, and denounce the peacemakers for lack of patriotism and exposing the country to danger. It works the same in any country. End quote. I totally agree with that. It's just psychology. It's not nothing, oh my God, this is genius. That's the way we are. And since in a society, the biggest strata of the society, is of people who are scaredy cats, people who are, we are all afraid, more or less. Some of us have more courage or less courage than others. That the big masses are weak. That's why we have democracy. And that's why we have the press to tell the weak how to vote. and the weak will follow it because they don't have an independent mind. All right, and they're always afraid of their shadow. So right here, I think this is just a scare tactic. I'm not saying they should not doing. They have been doing. Good for you. But why now, homie? And why New York? Huh? Do you know why New York? Who lives in New York? Lots of people. Lots of people. Do we have a problem in the Middle East? Do you understand what I'm saying? We have a problem in the Middle East. So they are getting ready if they're going to attack Iran. Who's they? We are going to attack because Iran hates our freedoms and democracy. Then they could detonate something here that might have had the nail on for years. I'm not saying that's the truth. I don't know if that's the reality, but it's very strange that it's in New York City and not, let's say, in Chicago. Not too many of those guys live in Chicago. Or maybe in Florida, the same. A lot of them are in Florida. Or Savannah, Georgia, for the same reason. I'm very familiar with this matter. It's not Detroit. It's not Detroit. Why? Because the Arab community is too big in Detroit. Yeah, Detroit is very much under surveillance, but it's not going to be an atomic bomb detonated in Detroit. You understand what I'm saying? All right. Thank you very much for being with me again today. So help us God. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.